was a young consultant, John Warner, who set up the children's food allergy clinic. So there was always an adult allergy service, but I wasn't involved in that then. We didn't really see any of those patients. So that's how I got into allergy, through the paediatric route in 1981, I think it was. So there were all these allergies that started in the 90s and the 2000s, which I think just reflects the whole change in our diet over that period, especially from probably the 1980s onwards. I think our diet changed more in those 2 decades than ever before. You know, you would see milk or egg or fish, but you never saw any other allergies. You know, we never had peanut allergy. When I started, we didn't see soy allergy and tree nut allergy, kiwi fruit allergy. We never saw that either. So I think we saw a big change then, in not just in food allergy, but in the whole kind of emphasis on diet. But actually, in this hospital, diet was always a very important thing because it was a TB hospital. So they always used to have quite a big concentration on diet and the importance of a diet for those patients.
Well, you mean the high protein?
High protein, but yeah, there was other really weird diet sheets called gastric diet 1 and gastric diet 2, and things we didn't use anymore because we had developed drugs for those, or very low fat diets, or, you know, diets for patients with high cholesterol levels who, you know, before we had statins and things. So I think it's changed a lot. I don't think the essence of the hospital has changed at all. It's very much how it was, and I think, you know, there's a lot of people who are here a long time. I'm not unusual in that respect, I think.
Amazing. So that makes it
nearly 40 years next year, so that'll be my big birthday.
What will you do? A cake with no allergens? Your role evolved from working as a dietitian to service manager, to then becoming a
manager, and then multiple services, and then back to just managing 2 people now, as I did then when I took over.
How closely do you work with the catering then?
I mean, I don't work with them at all now, and haven't done for many years because I haven't managed dietetics for a long time. And we always work very closely with them, and really right up till the last catering manager left, Mike Duckett, who I knew very well. We did a lot together, but obviously as I became more distant from dietetics, which I did, essentially the person who's the director now, and Penny Agent, she managed dietetics for the last 5 years that I was director, so I haven't managed them for a long time, so I don't even know who everybody is in that department, because so I actually sit in the allergy team now. I sit in the lung division.
Yeah, Mike Duckett has obviously had an award-winning catering department.
Yeah, he did. When we worked so closely together, and we did all the, you know, when I first came, we used to go through all the menus every time they changed to make sure that they were suitable for all our patients, and I did loads of work. I worked on housekeeping initiatives in the 1990s that the government were proposing, and I did a lot of stuff with catering, and I still do think it's a very important relationship that I think unfortunately dietitians have tended to become much more focused on research, and I think sometimes they forget about the importance of having that relationship there. We still do have a good relationship. We've always kept our diet cook. You know, most hospitals lost their diet cooks in the 1980s. It's important because of our patients, especially the CF patients that we have, but also some of the other groups, transplant patients at Harefield. They don't have a diet cook at Harefield, but we work very hard to get special meals for people.
And so what does your work inform? Do you inform treatments?
My job here is quite unusual because the food allergy service is my responsibility. So I work with Professor Durham, who does all the immunotherapy, and I mean, obviously he's the medical supervisor, he supervises everything, but I have my own clinic, so I make a diagnosis. I do food challenges up here on the day case unit, so patients come in, and if we haven't been able to make a diagnosis, they come and eat the food because usually they're not going to react to it, but sometimes they do. So that's the kind of thing that we do. So I work with 2 consultants. I have an allergy specialist nurse and another allergy support nurse, registrar, research people, yeah.
And what do you think the biggest change has been then in your kind of career?
I think the Brompton, essentially, in terms of the care it gives patients, it hasn't changed. It's always given amazing care, and I still think it does. You know, I think the ethos of the hospital remains what it always was. You know, very caring, and that always comes across actually in patient surveys and things. For me, I guess we've become bigger and more spread out. We lost some of that closeness that we had when the two hospitals were just across the road. But I think in essence the care is always amazing, and the research I think is amazing still. The thing about this hospital was developing its staff, finding new roles, being a bit experimental, you know, doing stuff no one else is doing. So I think you've got that opportunity here. I think you get the chance to be a world leader in something here, and a lot of people are. I never thought I'd still be in the same place that I started. I felt there was so much going on here, I never needed to look elsewhere.